When you think of football glow-ups, you think of players who never hit the heights of their potential, to then finding it with another club. More so, between 2005 to 2015, there are plenty of examples of players who flopped at Anfield to only then show what Liverpool were missing. There are even a couple of examples of players who carried the team to then reach greater heights once they left. That's why we're going to look at, in my opinion, 10 of Liverpool's biggest glow-ups within the Banter Decade. Number 10, Emiliano Insua. If you're a fan of Football Manager 2010 like me, you'll know Insua was a very useful addition to any team. Unfortunately for Liverpool, it never cemented into him being a full-time starter. Additionally, though he never really cemented a starting place for any club for a long period of time, he actually became a better, more complete defender after leaving Liverpool. In his final season for Liverpool in the 2009-10 season, he played 44 games in total, which is a numbers you'd expect from a useful starter. However, it wasn't meant to be, as he moved to Sporting CP for an undisclosed fee. Some other clubs up to this point who have acquired his services include Atletico Madrid, Stuttgart, Rayo Vallecano and LA Galaxy. On paper, Insua seems more like a journeyman, but in reality, he became more of a consistent starter in Portugal, lent a helping hand in a Champions League level squad, had a long, stable run in the Bundesliga, and was now a veteran in the defence, both at Vallecano and America. From a backup who never fully convinced into becoming a solid pro at a good European level, Insua may not have had a spectacular rise, but it was a big step up from his inconsistent Liverpool years. Insua is someone who I feel Football Manager fans from the 2010s will offer a bit of sweet nostalgia. That, and my heydays of being the ultimate cool guy. Number 9, Danny Pacheco. The first player on our list whose improvement was moderate but still showed some real improvements after leaving Liverpool. While wearing the Liverbird crest, Pacheco was something of a hype technically gifted forward, but was often seen flirting between the youth and senior squads. He had also played for numerous Spanish underage squads from the 16s to the 21s. Once he left Liverpool, he began finding a few opportunities to become a first-team asset, from Alcocer to Real Zaragoza, Malaga to Logroñés. Ultimately, he wasn't someone who would play at the top level of elite leagues, but he was a difference maker in the Segunda division and would join clubs where he would be a focal point to consistency and role clarity. From a forward who never broke through in England, had barely played, and stuck between different level squads, to reinventing himself on numerous occasions and having constructive spells in different leagues, it may be a small glow-up, but a glow-up nonetheless. Number 8, Sebastian Cortés. The man who walks like an ant, but is only just as tall as me 3 steps up my house, and is someone who I'm surprised to see has had a great glow-up since leaving Liverpool in 2015. Signed in 2011 after winning the Best Young Player at Copa America, the data-driven analytics of FSG weren't in full swing as it is today in 2025. So recruitment was still built on heavy scouting and reputation. At 21 years of age, £7 million on a youngster who is already representing their country would hopefully be an investment which would only increase as time passes on. However, his time at Liverpool can be best described as shaky, slow, and utilised as just backup. Cortés' talents simply didn't land in England, but would ultimately be found after he left 4 years later. In 2015, he made his loan to Sunderland permanent, with nothing to write home about also. Once he left Liverpool, it was Portugal who saw the best of Cortés. Joining Sporting permanently in 2017 led to Cortés not only adding more games to his career, both domestically and internationally, but also his honours, such as winning the Primeira Liga twice, the Casa de Portugal once, and the Casa de Liga on 4 separate occasions. He has had various mentions in the Portuguese Team of the Year and the Sporting's Player of the Season in 2020. Now returning to where he began in Nacional, with 51 Uruguayan caps to this date, 1 Copa America title, and a multitude of trophies both within the team and individually, it is a recurring theme with some of these players that it was only going to work for them once they left England. Number 7, Ryan Babel. When Ryan Babel joined Fulham in 2019, I was in disarray over the fact that he was still playing professionally. What took me back a bit after knowing this was the fact that he became somewhat of a journeyman, and a good one at that. Joining Liverpool in 2007, he sits right in the middle of Liverpool's transition from old-school scouting to FSG's modern analytics approach. He had explosive pace and was held as a high prospect within Dutch football, having come through the famed Ajax academy. Obviously being a part of this list, after Liverpool, Babbel was a complete late bloomer who found his game. However, in his 4 years at Liverpool, he had raw talent without direction. Babbel definitely had glimpses of excellence with Liverpool, but it wasn't at a consistent rate. So once Liverpool sold him in 2011 to Hoffenheim for £8 million, he didn't flop after leaving, he improved. Ultimately, he became better than the player Liverpool sold, where he was polished into a smarter, more disciplined winger who was reliable and, most importantly, consistent, more so as he approached 30. It took him 5 years to earn another Dutch cap after leaving Liverpool, which highlights how he aged like fine wine. Essentially, he's a classic Liverpool didn't get his peak example. So right now, our 10th entry was likely the best way to start this list, and our 9th to 7th entries all have a good claim to being seen as players who have benefited moderately since leaving Liverpool. And now from 6th to 4th, in my opinion, we have players who have not only been able to find a great level of consistent football in the first team, but also make the statement of growing up after leaving Liverpool absolutely legitimate. Any of these 3 can be placed anywhere in this list, maybe up to 4th. But I think every person I've ranked in this list so far has a great reason for being where they are. And so that leads us to number 6, Suso. Suso came from the Liverpool Academy and was perceived as a silky Spaniard with huge technical promise. He was very young when he debuted at 19 in 2012 and earned a contract for his maturity and commitment, according to Brendan Rodgers. What this contract gave him in hindsight was mostly a couple substitute appearance. Soon enough, he went on loan to Almira after the arrivals of Daniel Sturridge and Philippe Coutinho, leaving him overtaken in the attacking spots, alongside the likes of Sterling and Lallana. Up to 2015, he made 14 league appearances and 21 in all competitions. Evidently, he wasn't going to break into the first team anytime soon. So he left Anfield to join the Italian powerhouse that is AC Milan. And though AC Milan in the mid-2010s weren't the absolute juggernaut of Italian and European football like in decades prior, it was still there that Suso had his breakthrough. Not only was he trusted in a playmaker role, unlike at Liverpool, he became one of the most dangerous left-footed creators in Italy. Milan fans adored him during his peak years there. He was genuinely influential. 5 years after joining AC Milan, he then made his mark in Spain with Sevilla, where he managed to win the 2020 Europa League and was called up to play for Spain under both Lopetegui and Luis Enrique. In all, it seemed like the talent was there, but Liverpool's environment wasn't the right fit. But I'm sure it matters none to Suso, as he became a tactical leader for AC Milan, a European trophy winner, an established La Liga player, and a Spanish international. He may have never become world-class, but he absolutely became much better than the player Liverpool sold. Number 5, Peter Gulaschki. A goalkeeper with numerous accolades in both Austria and Germany, it is easy to forget, or not even know, that Gulaschki not only signed for Liverpool, but never made a competitive league appearance for the Reds. Representing the MTK Budapest youth team, Gulaschki signed for Liverpool initially on a loan deal in 2007, where he won a treble with the reserve team. As such, Liverpool signed him permanently a year later, and he stayed on the books for 6 years. What came of his 6-year career with Liverpool was being stuck behind Pepe Reina, Donny and Brad Jones, and he was instead sent out on loan on 3 separate occasions. Liverpool rated him as a potentially good backup, but not Premier League ready, and as such, he left on a free in 2013. A move to RB Salzburg was the catalyst to make a career out of Gulaschki, where in 2 seasons with the Austrian club, he won 2 Austrian Bundesligas and 2 Austrian Cups. Gulaschki was a first-choice goalkeeper, and the Red Bull scouting and coaching model worked wonders for him. The next move transformed Gulaschki from Liverpool loanee to one of Europe's elite goalkeepers. RB Leipzig at the time were in the 2nd Bundesliga, but were promoted in Gulaschki's first season with them. Afterwards, for several seasons, Gulaschki statistically ranked among the best keepers in Germany and the best keepers in Europe, in terms of shot stopping and moreover as a top sweeping keeper, which was ideal for Nagelsmann's system. Gulaschki represented RB Leipzig in their pomp, playing numerous Champions League matches, even reaching the semi-final in 2020, and helped contribute to RB Leipzig achieving regular top 4 Bundesliga finishes, 2 DFB Pokal trophies as the cherry on top, and you have a goalkeeper whom Liverpool could have kept and integrated into becoming their #1 goalkeeper, instead of selling Coutinho to Barcelona and forking out nearly £67 million on Alisson. He is one of the most respected Hungarian players of the modern era, a leader during Hungary's resurgence under Marco Rossi. It's arguably the most dramatic glow-up of any ex-Liverpool player who never played a single senior game. Number 4, Luis Alberto. Now in this one, I may be breaking the rules a little bit. Luis Alberto joined Liverpool from Sevilla in 2013 and left in 2016, 1 year after the Banter Decade, in my opinion, ended. Jurgen Klopp joined Liverpool in 2015, but if there was one thing I wish Klopp had done better during his tenure as Liverpool manager, it was to utilise Alberto better. In the 3 years Alberto was part of Liverpool's plans, he only played for them in one solitary season. The other 2 were spent on loan with Malaga and Deportivo. 9 league appearances were what was given to Alberto, which is more than a few of the inclusions in this list. In England, he struggled with the pace and physicality of the Premier League, mostly featuring in under-21s and cup matches, and he never really found a position that suited him. He was behind so many forwards in the squad, and if you're even behind Aspas, then Liverpool was definitely not the place for a confidence-based player. Once 2016 came, he found a new home in Italy, signing for Lazio for £4 million. Under Simone Inzaghi, he moved permanently to central advanced midfield, where he became an elite passer, recording the most key passes in a single Serie A season in 2019-20, and improving physically and tactically to become the creative engine of a Champions League level team. Evidently, the clarity in his role and position made his career. At his peak, he was a Coppa Italia winner and Super Coppa Italia winner in 2019, and qualified for the Champions League with Lazio in 2020. He became a cult hero in Rome. Even at the time, with world-class competition in the national team, he earned a cap for Spain, being called up under Julian Lopetegui. Essentially, in England, he just wasn't physical enough, not fast enough, not good enough. However, the move to Italy proved that he had always been destined to become not only one of Europe's elite playmakers or midfield artist, but also a club icon. We've now made it to our top 3 inclusions. From 10 to 4, it is entirely up to everybody to rank these players in different places, or even have other people in mind. So before we get into it, let's talk about some honourable mentions. Conor Cody was an academy captain who only made 1 senior appearance for Liverpool, but when he left Anfield for Molineux, he became the captain of a Premier League side, played at the 2020 Euros, and became a bit part England international. Martin Kelly never became great, but found some rhythm in a Crystal Palace side who'd finally stopped acting as a yo-yo club. Not to mention he does have an England cap. And lastly, or more so surprisingly, Nabil El Zahar was nothing more than a barely used winger, but then found some consistency as a reliable top-flight starter in La Liga with both Levante and Las Palmas. A quiet but real improvement, which is much more than he ever was at Liverpool. So those 3 stick out like a sore thumb compared to other Liverpool players having some form of glow-up after leaving. And these next 3, I believe, are worlds apart from every other player already mentioned. Number 3, Javier Mascherano, a midfielder who, in my view, should have been the benchmark for the level of quality Liverpool aimed to sign at the time, rather than some of the more debatable signings from the likes of Udinese and Juventus. Initially involved in the midst of an arguably dodgy deal to England, Mascherano arrived alongside Carlos Tevez at Upton Park. Although he didn't have the same impact as Tevez in helping West Ham avoid relegation, he still secured another move, this time to Liverpool in 2007. During his 3-year stay at Anfield, it was obvious Liverpool had a world-class midfielder in their midst, but as we've already mentioned throughout this video, this list is about Liverpool's biggest glow-ups between 2005 and 2015. And how can someone glow up from already being world-class? After all, it can be argued that Mascherano didn't truly improve after leaving Liverpool because his level was already elite. Mascherano's glow-up didn't come in terms of performance or quality. It came in the form of honours and achievements. After leaving in 2010, just as Roy Hodgson took the Anfield dugout, Mascherano moved to Barcelona. With teammates like Messi, Xavi, David Villa, Puyol, Piqué, Alves, Iniesta and many more, he spent 8 years at Camp Nou and won 19 major trophies, 5 La Ligas, 5 Copa del Rey titles, and 2 Champions Leagues stand out among his achievements after Liverpool. Compare that to Liverpool lifting only the Carling Cup in the 2011-12 season and needing penalties to beat Championship side Cardiff, and it becomes clear. Mascherano didn't improve after leaving Liverpool. He simply moved to Barcelona, where a world-class player finally collected world-class honours. That is where his glow-up truly lies. Number 2, Iago Aspas. Since we've already discussed Aspas' career before, during and after Liverpool, there isn't much more that needs to be added. But in summary, he joined Liverpool in 2013 under Brendan Rodgers, and it became clear within a single season that he was unsuited to Rodgers' system, lacked confidence, and was physically overwhelmed by the Premier League. He's now remembered for one infamous moment against Chelsea. 24 games and 1 FA Cup goal later, his value was low, his reputation lower, and he was widely labelled a flop in England. However, once he returned to Spain, he became one of the most complete forwards in La Liga. He consistently outscored elite strikers such as Karim Benzema, Antoine Griezmann and Gareth Bale, to name just a few. He became Celta Vigo's all-time top goalscorer and won 4 Zara trophies, awarded to the top Spanish scorer in La Liga. David Villa, Fernando Morientes and Raul are names in that company. The only difference is that Aspas has won more Zara trophies than any of them. From 2016 to 2019, he scored 61 La Liga goals, his peak goal-scoring years, an even more impressive achievement considering he played for a club constantly fighting mid-table battles or relegation. Aspas also became a regular Spanish international and was considered the most technical and intelligent centre-forward in Spain's pool at the time. From Premier League flop, meme player, forgotten squad option, and a striker with zero confidence in England, to one of La Liga's more consistent scorers, a club legend, a multi-time top Spanish scorer, a Spain international, and one of the most intelligent forwards of his generation. Aspas wasn't just a career resurrection. He came very close to being the biggest glow-up by any former Liverpool player in the modern era. Nearly. For number 1, it can really be up for debate out of these 3 who should take the spot. After all, Mascherano glowed up his trophy cabinet and Aspas had a unique glow-up, considering his peak came at the age of 30 instead of the usual 24 to 27. However, for me, this player takes the cake, as here is the strongest, more coherent example of a Liverpool player glow-up once they left Anfield. Even though many former Liverpool players blossomed elsewhere, nobody experienced a post-Liverpool elevation as dramatic, historic, or decorated as this player is. And that is number 1, Luis Suarez. To understand Suarez's glow-up, we can break it into 4 areas: performance, trophies, status, and legacy. Suarez didn't just get better, he reached a historic level. After joining Liverpool in 2011 and leaving in 2014, it was clear he was the cream of the crop in terms of goal scoring, movement, and technical quality. He showed world-class attributes in his final Liverpool season. Once he moved to Barcelona for £65 million, he became arguably the best centre-forward on the planet between 2015 and 2017. He formed one of the greatest forward lines in football history, the famous MSN, and produced a 59-goal season in 2015-16, winning the European Golden Shoe and outscoring Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Aubameyang, Higuain, Benzema, and everyone else in Europe. He became the best player in the world in his position, won the Golden Shoe, and served as a central figure in a treble-contending super team, a level no one else on this list reached. In terms of trophies, Suarez won 4 La Ligas, 4 Copa del Rey titles, 1 UEFA Champions League, 1 FIFA Club World Cup, and 1 UEFA Super Cup after leaving Anfield. In terms of reputation, Suarez became a global superstar at Barcelona. He is one of the club's all-time top goal scorers and is widely considered one of the best strikers of the 21st century. Although he's never voted highly in the Ballon d'Or, he consistently produced Ballon d'Or level seasons, both statistically and individually. No other former Liverpool player from 2005 to 2015 came close to this level of worldwide acclaim. Finally, in terms of legacy, the amount of success he achieved after leaving Liverpool speaks for itself. Liverpool may have been the launching pad, but Barcelona is where he built his legacy. Yes, he was world class by 2013-14, and at times loved, feared, brilliant and inconsistent before that. But at Barcelona, he was consistently world class and often legendary. Statistically, one of the most productive forwards in modern football, and ultimately cemented his place as a top 10 striker of all time. There are moderate glow-ups and even great ones on this list, but Suarez is number one, and here's why. He didn't just improve, he exploded into one of the greatest forwards of the modern era, joining a historic attacking trio, winning major trophies, breaking goal records, winning a golden shoe, and elevating his global legacy far beyond anything he achieved at Liverpool. Suarez is legendary. And that's my list of the top 10 glow-ups during the Liverpool Banter Decade. Be sure to comment who you feel should be in this list, and if there is anybody you'd change. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I will see you soon.